Okay, now we're going to talk about another fundamental principle that underlies the dynamics of how interpersonal relationships work. And this one is especially critical in a marriage. It's also important in the relationship between parent and child. And as crazy as it seems, it even has relevance in the workplace. And that's an idea called love languages. And in my opinion, and actually the only book that I've ever read on this is a book called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And he does a phenomenal job of explaining this one. And so my encouragement is to seek out that book and delve into it some here. So I just want to hit some highlights here of this and really lay the foundation so that you can kind of get a picture. And I'm going to tell a story, actually kind of a painful story, but it really illustrates the point and why it's so important for us to understand this. So let's hit the story to start off with. Several years ago, before I started understanding this stuff, we had just finished a house, and Penny has a large extended family, and she'd invited them all over for something like Thanksgiving dinner, I think. I can't remember what it was. But she invited them over, so everybody's going to be here the next day, and she is a very task-oriented person. That's very important for her. So she had spent all day cleaning the house and getting the kids lined out and making sure food was ready and this and this and this and this and this. And so we're going along about 6 o'clock in the evening, maybe later than that. And she calls me and says, "Honey, I want you to run down to the store and get something for me." And so I dutifully jump in the car and take one of the kids and go with me, and we head down to the store. And as I walk in the front door, I'm thinking, I'm so proud of my wife. She's working so hard to make sure that this party tomorrow comes off well. I want to show her how much I appreciate that. And I happen to walk in the front door of our grocery store, and there's a great big flower display. So, guy's mind, hey, how do you show appreciation? How do you show your love to your wife? Well, we give them flowers, right? Isn't that what happens in all the movies? That was how I perceived it. So I spent 10 minutes there sorting through, finding the right bouquet of flowers for her, ran back and got what she wanted, and headed home. And I walked in the door and had the kid that was with me hand her whatever she'd sent me after, and then I popped out my bouquet of roses. "Surprise, honey, I just want you to know how much I love you." And she took one look at me and my flowers, and she says, "If you want those stupid flowers to live, then you need to take care of yourself, because I don't have time. I've got too many things going on right now." I was totally shocked. I didn't know what to do, didn't know how to respond. In fact, I responded very inappropriately. And I took the stupid flowers, put them in a stupid vase, and stomped off to my bedroom and read a book the rest of the night, probably. When what she really wanted me to do was not give her one more task to accomplish, but to help her take some of the load off of her so that her day went smoother. And for years after that, we totally avoided that subject because it didn't make sense to either of us. She forgot about it. For me, it was like a massive thing, and I didn't understand it at all until I read Gary Chapman's book. And I realized that she has a very different love language than me. And so the way that we feel loved in our lives is different from person to person. And it very much is like languages. I happened, years ago, I lived in Japan for a couple of years, so I learned to speak Japanese fairly fluently at the time. Well, that gave me an entire new appreciation for the fact that when two people come together who don't speak the same actual language, that it doesn't matter how much they hand gesture and yell and scream and jump up, down, and shout at each other, the message cannot be communicated because they don't understand the same language. And that's the same way that love works in our relationships. It doesn't matter how many flowers and chocolates and gifts and special little things that I give to my wife, if her love language is not gifts, but it's, let's say, acts of service, which is another one of them, those things might not mean anything more to her than a cursory, "Oh yeah, thanks." Whereas on the flip side, if somebody else, if that's their love language, it sends them into orbit with feelings of love towards you. But if it's not your love language, you can do it and 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 do it till you're blue in the face, and your spouse can still say, honestly, with a straight face, he doesn't love me, or she doesn't love me. And you're going, well, what do you mean I don't love you? I give you all these special things, just like they do in the movies, just like I saw mom and dad do, or whatever level of language you're coming from. And it doesn't communicate the feeling of love. It communicates something else according to our blueprint, again, whatever that picture is in the back of our mind. So the biggest trick, if we want to make sure our spouse knows we love them, is we've got to find out what language is their natural language that they feel loved in. He has 5 languages, and I'll probably forget some of them here, but there's gifts, which we've already talked about. There's acts of service. There's physical touch. There's words of affirmation. And there's quality time. Hey, I actually got all of them in one shot. Didn't know I could do that. Okay? And each one of those is an entirely different way that people feel loved. And so it becomes our prerogative then to dig into, and actually there's some tests that he has available in his book. We have some tests that we're going to have available on our website so that you can dig in and find out which one of these is yours and which one's your spouse's, or which one is one of your children's, or hopefully we'll even give you some clues here so you can kind of identify how this works at work. Now at work, you're not there trying to show your coworker that you love them. We get in trouble for that, okay? But we want them to know that they are liked, appreciated, and cared for. How's that? Okay? And when we do that, if we have a positive working relationship with a person at work, don't you understand how we're going to get more done? How we're going to accomplish more of what our purpose is at our work? That's why even this can make some sense there. And you don't have to sit down and say, so what could I do that would make you feel loved at work? That's not the point. But there are things you can watch for. Let's go to the gift thing, for instance. If you watch your coworker and they're really big about handing out gifts for every little thing, you know, they go on vacation, they come back, they got to make sure they give you a postcard, or they brought you a little tiki toy, you know, from wherever you went. That's probably a pretty good indication that gifts is their love language. Now that might not mean squat to you, but it means if you want to get on their good side and you want to have them line up behind you in accomplishing the goals that you feel are important in your work, that it's probably important for you to, you know, throw them a bone once in a while. Give them a gift of some kind so that they feel that you like them and that they're an important part of your team and that sort of thing. And it's a great way to get better results from the relationships that you have. If you think about your kids, let's say that you've got a child who's a very words of affirmation person, which means they need to be told that they're great, that they're special, that was an awesome accomplishment that you just did. I'm really proud of you. I think you are an incredible person. Some people totally thrive on that. But imagine if you have a child that's that way. And if they bring home a bad report card from you, and if you jump all over them for poor performance and poor grades, and I'm really disappointed with you, and I know you can do better than this, what are you doing? You're dumping the exact opposite of words of affirmation on them. You're dumping criticism and condemnation and complaints on them, and it just wrecks them. They just feel anything but loved. And when you take away that love from them, you are pulling out your ability to influence them to do the things that you want them to do. And so this thing has so many dynamics that play into all different areas of our lives. Again, on a 10-minute video, there's no way I can cover this. I just hope to give you enough information here that, first of all, if you go, oh, I can see now where I'm making some mistakes, I got to dig into this more. Again, great book you can go read. Come to our website. We've got CDs about this. We've got explanations, information, all kinds of stuff going on there. That's what we want to do, is lead people to these principles. Talk to you about the next one soon. See ya. Bye.